Well, I want to thank everybody for taking some time out of your day to join today's Code Ninjas conference call. My name is Marty Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Franchising here at Code Ninjas, and we host these calls each and every week to help you get a better understanding of who we are, what we're doing, where we're going, what's happened, and also to be able to ask any question you might have about Code Ninjas. So how that works is, at the end of today's kind of introduction part of this call, you'll be able to have a chance to answer any questions you might have about Code Ninjas by hitting *6. So you'll be told when you can do that, and that'll be at the end of today's call. Those are the funnest parts, the most exciting parts of these calls, the most informative parts of these calls, in my opinion, is when you have the opportunity to ask whatever questions you have about Code Ninjas. So, like I said, for those who are just joining us, we have about 30 people on today's call. My name is Marty Flanagan, the Vice President of Franchising over here. To give you a little bit of an idea of Code Ninjas, what our motto, which is kids have fun, parents see results. We are the largest kids coding franchise in the world. We have accomplished that in a short period of time, and which is about the last 19, 20 months now that we have been awarding franchise territories. So what does that look like? Kind of Code Ninjas by the numbers. So in the last 20 months of awarding franchises, we have sold 322 locations across the U.S. and Canada. We're just getting into Canada now, but 322 here in the U.S. We have 65 centers currently enrolling students, 65-plus centers currently enrolling students. With that, we have 141 franchisees across the U.S. And like I said, that has happened now in the last about 20 months. So since March of 2017 is when we had our first location open, and in April of 2017 is when we had our very first franchisee. So that first location was opened by us in Pearland, Texas, just outside of Houston, where our corporate office is at. So why has all that happened, and why has Code Ninjas exploded the way it has? And there's so many reasons why, but let me go over what we do on these calls each and every week, which is I give you a little bit of history of Code Ninjas, and I give you some insight on our curriculum and why we are a franchise. Why do we decide to do this as a franchise, and then how have we built our support inside of our franchise so that you know that you're going to be supported and that the tools you have to be able to be successful. So a little bit about the history of franchising, a little bit of history of Code Ninjas, which is where we come from. So David Graham, the founder and CEO of Code Ninjas. So David's been a coder, a programmer his whole life, entrepreneur his whole life, right? So he's always been fascinated with this. He's always been digging into the computer and becoming a coder and a programmer, and then moving into being an entrepreneur. So David owned a school that taught adults how to code. He had that for about 4.5 years. That operated in 18 different cities. But there wasn't a week that didn't go by that he wasn't asked by somebody, whether inside of his organization or one of his students, that was asking about, hey, how do we get the younger generation involved in this? How do we get this younger generation thinking like a coder, being involved in this whole world of coding and programming and development? So as time went on, he kept getting those questions, and then finally, when his two boys also asked those questions to him, what does Dad do? How can they do something like that? He really started to dig into the curriculum out there for what was out there for the younger generation. How do they learn these skills to think like a coder, to think like a programmer, to be that problem identification, problem solver, critical thinking? How is that happening? What's the curriculum? What's it look like? And the more he dug into it, the more shocked he was to find that it was very limited. It was just scratching the surface. There's no connectivity between all these different curriculums out there. There was no connectivity between them. And that's when the light bulb went off when he was sitting in his son's karate class, and he saw, geez, just like these belts, we can also do this inside of Code Ninjas and do this belt learning structure. And that's where our belt system comes from, what we call our drop-in program, which we'll talk about in a minute. So that's kind of where this idea came. After he sold his school, really jumped into developing Code Ninjas. David Graham, the CEO, Bert Sensapon, our COO, and then myself, all started Code Ninjas in the beginning with ideas of where we wanted to go and what we wanted it to become. And so when we look at that history and understanding where we come from, why did we decide to be a franchise? Well, we decided to be a franchise because we have history there in franchising. We know about franchising. We have history. We understand that it can't just be about our curriculum. It also has to be about the experience. If we were just going to be a curriculum-focused company and just do curriculum, then we would just offer all this online. It would not be as in-depth. It wouldn't have the connectivity. There's so many things about just doing this online and having it a curriculum out there versus an actual experience and the connectivity of the curriculum. And that's really, really important to understand that our curriculum, there's a connectivity between all of them. So it's a consistent practice of skill building, not just drinking from a fire hose for 4 to 6 weeks or a week-long camp and then being done. It's completely different. We also understand the value of a flexible learning system, which we'll talk about. So why did we dive into making it a franchise? We knew that the experience was going to be important, and we knew, and we do know to this day, that franchisees really are your brand development. Franchisees are really going to be delivering the experience and the curriculum better in their local market than you're going to have somebody when it's a corporate-run entity. That experience, that curriculum, and also really being innovators out there along with us. We knew that was really critical and important in this space for us to be able to stay at the tip of the spear out there in this industry and kind of laying the tracks and being kind of the innovators out there in what we're doing. So being a franchise, we also knew that we had to offer support. So from the very beginning, we built different aspects of support like Code Ninja University, which is an online resource that has videos, that has all the documentation for you to do reading. It's kind of like this manual of insight from sharpening the process and being out there and thinking of compliance and operation and documents and videos to be able to operate and run your Code Ninjas at the highest possible level. We also have the one-on-one support. You have a dedicated individual for compliance, for operation, for technology. The support team is going to be there. They're there to help performance coach you along the way and your team to be sure that you're consistently delivering that experience. And when you face a hurdle that you have to get over, we can be there to support you and help you through that. And that one-on-one support also is a great feedback for us to understand what's happening on the ground out there. With 65 centers open, with projected to have 100 centers open by the end of the year, that's amazing feedback that we receive on a regular basis from franchisees, from center directors, from code senseis. That feedback coming in, that data coming to us really allows us to sharpen our processes, sharpen our operations, sharpen our marketing, keep advancing our curriculum forward more than any other company out there. No other coding company can even come close to that. They're not even coming close. To have 100 locations open by the end of the year, that's amazing in the first 24 months of operation. So we understand that support has to be there, and also a franchisee to franchisee, peer-to-peer support. Franchisee to franchisee support is critical. We foster that relationship. We cultivate that relationship. We provide online tools. We started that from the beginning. We understand the goods, the bads, the uglies that can come from that, but we started that in the beginning because we knew that there was a value there for you to be supported by other franchisees who are living in your space, who have been through what you've been through, and have moved through it and seen that success, and how can you benefit from that. A lot of times in franchising, it's about sharing best practices that, once or twice a year, where we want it immediately. We want you to be able to receive that immediately. So that franchisee to franchisee support is also an aspect of our overall franchise support structure. So obviously we provide you with marketing support, digital marketing strategies, pre-opening marketing timelines to what you have to get done, when you have to do it. There's nothing a part of this where you're just going to have to see, well, I'm going to have to go and just figure all that out. We're going to give you guidance. we're going to give you support. We're going to help you along the way. We can't make decisions for you, but we can guide you through a lot of the processes that are going to be in front of you because we've done it. We've been there. We're going to be able to help you not take shortcuts, but hopefully be able to expedite some of the systems out there to allow you to take advantage of your time, effort, and energy and focus it. In franchising, our goal, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can give you this structure. And then you can put in there your ability, your giftings, your leadership, all of you can go into that structure. Then that really creates your culture, your experience inside of your Code Ninjas. And we understand that we have to continue to provide the technology and the human support to be able to allow you to be you inside that environment. So when it comes to our curriculum, we have 5 different opportunities currently for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. 5 different opportunities. It's not like they walk in the front door and say, sign me up for the only program you have. That's not how it works with us. So currently 5 programs, and the reason I say currently is because our Code Masters program will be available in early 2019, and that's for 14 years and older, which means 14 to 100, whatever older means. It's all the way up. There's no age limit there at all. That's for 14 and older, the Code Masters program. The current offerings that we have are those 5, which is our drop-in program, which I briefly talked about, and I'll talk about a little bit more. We have an after-school program. We also have birthday parties. We also do Parents' Night Out, which is an awesome program. Then obviously we do camps. Camps are offered whenever there's not school. And those camps are a beautiful way of expanding the bandwidth of our current students and introducing new students into this world and getting them excited about it. Our most popular is going to be our drop-in program. The drop-in program is really the curriculum that we really focused on in the beginning to really be the differentiator between Code Ninjas and every other curriculum out there. The drop-in program it encompasses really a lot about who we are because it does take into consideration culture. It does take into consideration the parents' time, our students' learning, and then obviously many different aspects of learning the concepts and skills of what makes a great coder through that entire program. One thing just to remember with this drop-in program, it's a flexible learning system. What that means is that parents are going to drop their son or their daughter off at their convenience. There's no classes. There's no lectures. They're going to learn. It's a self-paced program, but it is not self-taught. It's very individualized at their pace of learning. So what does that look like? Well, that is the 9-belt system we have. So there's 9 total belts inside that drop-in curriculum. Inside of each belt, there's a learned set of skills and concepts. At the end of each belt, students are required to build a game to show their proficiency with those skills and concepts learned with inside that belt. Once they do that, they're able to progress to the next belt. And all of that is connected. There's a connectivity between belt 1 and belt 9. There's a connectivity in skills. So it's not like they complete 1, and then when they go to number 2, are they going to be learning a whole other set of skills? Yes, but they're going to be using skills from the earlier belts as well. So everything is connected. It's like compounding interest. Everything works together. There's a connectivity there. So it's not like they're learning a skill and then forgetting about it 2 weeks later or a month later. This is done with about 45% of that curriculum is exclusive and proprietary just to Code Ninjas. That also comes with proprietary textbooks. And that system itself, like I said, is a flexible learning system that would take anywhere from 2 years to 4 years to accomplish by working through that curriculum. That is done by a flat monthly tuition cost by the parents. So the parents are going to pay a flat tuition monthly cost of price tuition for their son or their daughter to access Code Ninjas up to 2 hours a week. It could be 1 day a week for an hour, it could be for 2 hours, or it could be 2 days a week for an hour each. Very simple. And that flat tuition is going to be determined by your market. In our franchise disclosure document inside the FDD, that is going to tell you kind of where our centers are averaging right now. Our centers usually, our average right now is anywhere between $190 and $225 is the typical average. We have some centers that charge up to $270. We have a couple centers that are in smaller markets and more rural that are at around $175 a month. So they charge up to $270 a month or as low as $175, but the majority of our franchisees fall into the $190 to the $225 per month. And that, and again, gives them access for up to 2 hours a week. Our full reciprocity program kicks in early 2019. Reciprocity, so if you're in a more populated city like Houston, Texas, or Austin, or in New Jersey, or in Chicagoland, those areas, they're going to have all of them will have full reciprocity, so a student can go to another center and you as a franchisee will be getting paid from that. It's not like when that student comes in and uses your Code Ninjas, and when they scan their wristband, you as a franchisee will be getting paid, because that's how our students check in. They would go back into the dojo. They're going to open up a computer. They're going to grab a textbook. They're going to log into the dashboard, and it's going to bring them right to where they left off at. All of their information, all of their games that they've built in the past and what they've done is all going to be right there for them. So it's very, very nice for convenience factor for those in the bigger cities. We say kids have fun, parents see results. One of the ways that parents see results is going to be based on our parent portal. The parent portal is where parents can actually see the games and play the games that their son or daughter have built and see the progress and what's happening. So they're not going to be left out. They're going to be able to be engaged. Everything we do, when we say kids have fun, is a game-based curriculum. So it's, like I said, they're not coming in and being a part of a lecture. They're not coming in and being a part of a class. So it is a self-paced program, and they're going to be coming in and working at their pace, working with a Code Sensei. Our Code Senseis, we run about an 8 to 1, 10 to 1 ratio with our Code Senseis, so Code Sensei to student. And when our students run into an issue, they're going to raise their hand. A Code Sensei is going to go work with them on an individual basis. So it is very personalized. So the first 10 to 15 minutes of these calls are always the same. We go over this brief overview like we did today, and then we dive into the question and answer. Question and answer typically goes for, it can be 20 minutes. It could be an hour and a half. It's really going to be dictated by you with your questions. If you have questions on things like ROI, I cannot go over ROI. I do have a very nice worksheet that I've created on Excel. You're going to be able to use that and build out your ROI, build out your break-even. I can't go over current student counts. I can only go over what's inside our franchise disclosure document. I can go over those numbers only. I can't go over current student count. I can't go over current ROI. I can't go over how much money are people making. If it's not in the franchise disclosure document, I cannot go over it. So keep that in mind. If you have questions about international, are we going to be available in Malaysia or Indonesia or China or Europe? That's something you want to email me directly on, and I'll give you my email address. It's marty@codeninjas.com. You can email me there if you have international questions. We can talk about them off of this call. So this will be that time. If you have any questions, if I did such a fantastic job and nobody has any questions, then we'll end today's call early. If you do have questions, this is going to be your time right now. You're going to want to hit *6. By hitting *6, and that is going to be how you virtually raise your hand, and then I'll be able to call on you, and you'll be able to ask your question, and we'll be able to go over it. If, like I said, if I did such a fantastic job, we're going to wind down really soon here, and we'll be done. Make it easy. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm calling from Canada.
Awesome.
And I just have a question about opening a franchise in Canada as opposed to the U.S. So it's my first time kind of looking into opening a franchise in Canada. So do you guys give any help to how to open a franchise in Canada as opposed to the U.S.? Because I think there might be some rules that are a little different. Right?
Yeah, we have a fully executed and legally done by our council for Canada. So we have a Canadian franchise disclosure document. So, yeah, so not a problem there whatsoever. And I'm from northern Minnesota, so the more Canadian people that call in, there could be a nasty accent that's about to happen. So if everybody listening, it could get crazy. So just so you're aware. But so Canada, not a problem. We work with a great group up there called Halo Advisory that can even help with understanding your financial options as well. So there's going to be, we do have, we are ready to go in Canada. We've been marketing now in Canada for about 4 weeks, and we've received hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of inquiries for Canada. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, because we have a lot of after-school programs here, but they're like done through churches or like small areas. But I saw this on Facebook, so I thought I would take a look at it because I'm in software development. That's where I work in as well. So I thought this would be a great idea for here.
Just to kind of add on to that, our number one group of franchise out of the 141 franchisees we have, the largest group of owners are going to be what I call IT professionals. The second largest group of owners we have are teachers.
Oh, nice.
So just so we can have an idea. Yeah. So definitely let's make sure we stay connected. I can get you all that information for Canada. Not a problem.
Sure. Is there an email address or something I can come to, or?
Yeah. So you probably got an email. You probably got an initial email from either myself or Jeff Thames. But if you want to email me, it's Marty, MARTY, at codeninjas.com, and then I can get you connected for sure.
Okay, perfect. I have your email.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Hi, you have a question?
Hi, my name is Kashara Rabago. I'm also in the IT industry and very interested in the franchising opportunity here. One of the questions that I did have, I am north of Texas in the Prosper area, which is above Frisco for those who may not know. And my son is actually enrolled in one of the locations that's in the McKinney area. And I wanted to, gain an understanding of how is it determined for the locations? Do you guys play a part in that? Or is that something that, is there any marketing data, analytic data that would support where the next location could possibly be in North Dallas?
Yeah, we do all of that. So we have all the data, and we work with you directly to determine the best location for your Code Ninjas. So we do all of that. We're giving you one of our babies, right? So we're going to be handing over one of our babies to you. We're not going to let you put it in a market, one that's not going to optimize the success for you and for our Code Ninjas, right? So there definitely are requirements that we have for where our locations go for an approved market, approved territory. We have those requirements, and so we work with you directly in determining, where you live, where could we go, even if your market is sold, did you say your son is at Code Ninjas?
Yes, he is 6 years old. He's in the McKinney location that just recently opened up.
6 years old. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And I have a 4-year-old too that's coming up the ranks. Hubby and I are both in IT, and so we're getting them started early.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. So what we would do is we'd work with you, even like you're in a sold market. Let's find out which one's close by you that's available. So we would work with you directly on that. And we like to do screen shares to show you on the map. We understand that you know your market, you know your area, you know how far a drive it might be to go nearby you. So we work with you directly and do screen shares on maps. And we want to find you a great location as long as it meets the requirements of what we have for a territory. We'll work with you and hopefully get you a territory nearby you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, I have 2 quick questions. I'm also calling from Canada, and I was just wondering, when you're starting a franchise, how difficult is it if you basically have really basic computer skills and no IT background? Would that be more difficult to start a franchise?
See, I don't think so, because I can't answer that really, because I don't know the rest of your history, right? We could have an IT professional that has zero business acumen, then that would be a heck of a lot harder because they have zero business acumen. So we would want to work with you more on an individual basis and really let's find out how this works together. We have a pretty customized process where it's not just here's a piece of paper, fill it out, and let's see if you're qualified. We don't do it that way. We like to work with you directly and more customize the process and help you understand whatever hurdles might be in front of you. We want you to know that before you sign the paperwork. So we've been in this world of franchising now. I've been in it for about 15 years. My last brand, from 50 locations to over 3,000. My team has got experience in franchising. We want to be sure that when you come aboard, you understand the hurdles in front of you. You understand the tools that we have in place to help you be successful. So we work with you individually. So to say that you have I've never written a line of code in my life. Do I think I would be a great Code Ninja owner? Heck yeah, I would, right? So when it comes to you, we want to figure out, okay, where are we at? What kind of business acumen do you have? Do you get it? Where's your passion coming from? And because passion really can drive you through your learning curve quite quickly. I mean, if you got the passion and the excitement and the entrepreneurial spirit, the learning curve is not as difficult. But if you don't have the passion and just a ton of knowledge of like IT, but you have no passion and no business acumen, that could be a lot more difficult. So I really would want to know a lot more about you and figure out this path forward to kind of give you an answer of a yes or a no. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I just had another question then. So I understand that you don't, I was speaking with you on the phone before. I understand you don't have any locations in Canada. So if we wanted to come and see a location that actually worked, like to put, like some context to it, to go into a location, do we just sort of go to the closest one in the States, drop in?
Well, and I appreciate you asking that question, because here's with all 30 callers that are on right now and anybody who listens to this call in the future, understand that if you go into a Code Ninjas and you're not introduced to them by the corporate office, there's a very high chance that you're going to be asked to leave, because you're walking into an environment that is a kid-focused environment, and you're an adult coming in saying you're interested in the business, but you've never been introduced to that owner or that center director by the corporate office, you're probably going to be asked to leave. And one thing to think about, we have discovery days. This is why we do discovery days each and every month.
Okay.
Discovery days are hosted at our corporate office. You get to dive in deeper with the curriculum and operations and new franchisee training and support and compliance and real estate and construction. You're diving in from 9 o'clock to 2, 3 o'clock. We're going to the center. You're walking through. You're seeing everything. You're touching it. You're a part of it. And that's going to our center and being at our corporate office. You're going to get more out of that than walking into a center and talking to a center director who has no idea about anything besides their day-to-day operational. That's what they need to focus on. When it comes to talking to an owner, you can definitely do that. We want that to happen, but you have to be introduced by the corporate office.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So how do we sign up for a discovery day then? How does that work?
Sure. So great questions. I love this. So discovery days are by invitation only. So you have to meet a few requirements to attend Discovery Day. For example, you have to have that first initial call with myself or Jeff Thames. You have to do at least a financial understanding of, do you have the money available to open a Code Ninjas? We send you an email that has a ton of information. It's called the franchise disclosure document. You have to be disclosed. You have to have that worksheet, that financial worksheet that we have that's all plug and play. It's beautiful. It helps you build out your entire model. And then the fourth is going to be, obviously being a part of these conference calls and having another call. That fourth step is, after you've listened to a conference call, have a recap call with myself or Jeff Thames to determine, do we have all this in place? Do you have a territory that's available? Do you have your financial requirements in place? Have you been disclosed? Those three things are really, really important. And so you can't come to a discovery day until we've gone over that information and it's all in place.
Okay.
And our discovery days have generally 20 to 30 attendees per discovery day.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, is that helpful?
Yeah. So the first part is basically while doing this call, then I think I've already got the financial information, so we fill it in on our own, or we set up an appointment with you guys to go over it, to fill it in.
You're going to definitely want to make sure you connect with myself or Jeff Thames so we can go over that.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, yeah. Short of traveling back in time, what can I do if I live in Houston, in the Sugar Land Katy area, and I'm interested in a franchise?
Yeah. If you get a time travel machine, first of all, you and I need to be best friends, and that is going to be the only way Houston's really going to work. Houston is a closed market because it is absolutely one of our most popular markets. So Houston, Austin, North Dallas, New Jersey, they're going to be really difficult markets to find a territory. Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Miami, Miami-Dade County, really, those are going to be very, very difficult areas to find a Code Ninjas.
How about San Antonio, or does Clear Lake fall in the Houston market, Houston territory?
It's basically, if you live in Houston, here's the way I describe it. If you live in Houston, you're about 500 miles plus away from the nearest available market.
Okay, fantastic.
If that helps. I mean, I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's like I literally get a call every other day, and they want me to. That's the best way I can describe it. Houstonians need me to tell them, here you got to travel 500 miles, and then we can find you one. And then most people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So,
what about is Denver sold out?
No, Denver's got about I used to live there, so I broke down that market very closely. Right now, Denver got some great markets like Ken Carl, by the Aurora Reservoir. There's a great market. Castle Rock. We have a gentleman who's just about to buy one in Colorado Springs and another one in Highlands Ranch. So those two markets won't be available after next week. But Ken Carl's a great market, and so is
live in Castle Rock.
Yep, so did I. Great market.
Yeah,
great market.
I will send you an email.
Awesome, do that.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks for your time. Hi, you have a question?
Hi. Again, most of the questions have already been asked. Just that I was curious to know what are next steps. I mean, is it going to be a direct call with you, or is it going to be another email that we can expect from you, or what are the next steps? I mean, I have a location in mind.
Yeah, don't say it out loud right now. If you have a location in mind, the worst thing you could do right now is say it.
Sure.
I'm being serious. Somebody will try to swoop it underneath you. So I would say right now, if you've received an email from Jeff Thames or myself, email us back right now, and we'll set up a call with you and try to help you evaluate that market and where you're at. Is it available? Is it viable? We'll do that with you one-on-one.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, hi, Marty. I am Norberto from Mexico. I understand that you are focusing in Mexico, but for the next year. It's right?
Correct. Yeah, like probably early 2019. We have about three or four franchisees that are actually from Mexico. So they've been encouraging us as well to get moving on Mexico. So we're looking at I would say Mexico, Central, South America, all early 2019.
Okay, I will be really looking for that opportunity. But I want to ask you if you can share some information about financials, or if all of this information is in the franchise disclosure document.
As much as I can share will be in the franchise disclosure document. And if you want the U.S. version, which matches almost identically to the Canadian version, you can just go ahead and send myself an email, and I can send you some information. But obviously, it's not going to be the same as what you're going to see in Mexico next year because all the data will be updated. But
yeah, I understand. It will be nice if I can have it, if you can send it to me. Thank you very much,
sure.
Martin.
All right. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, it's me again. Sorry.
No worries. Ask as many questions as you like.
I was just wondering, other than the camp days, given the ages of the kids, I'm assuming they're in school during the day. Is this franchise mainly open sort of after school and weekends? Is that the hours that you're looking at? Or
for student activity, yes. But student activity, yes. But also here in the States, we have a lot of what they would call unschooled or homeschooled families. So you have an opportunity there as well in the days to take advantage of the homeschooling / unschooled market that's available, like Texas, Minnesota, California, have very, very large unschooled communities.
Okay, so do you have franchises that would have less of the homeschool opportunity?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just an example. It's just an example.
Okay. Okay, no, I'm just wondering what their hours would be. I guess it depends on what your market is during the day, like based on, I guess you're saying some of your markets have a lot of homeschooled kids.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying is that those states have a higher. What I was saying is that yes, you're typically going to be open from 3 o'clock to 8, 9 o'clock at night. That's your typical hours, right? Depending. Okay. Now, does that mean you shouldn't be open in the middle of the day for opportunities to make revenue? No, it means you should be open for opportunities for revenue. You shouldn't close your mind to say, well, I'm just going to be open up then and that's it. That's closing your opportunity for revenue in other aspects. And I was just using homeschool, unschool community as an aspect of how you can create revenue during the times of the day where you're not as busy.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, no, I understand. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, hi, Marty. My name is Man. How are you doing? I'm from California.
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing good. Hey,
awesome.
I want to understand a little bit about the franchise's focus on research and development and how much effort is spent on that and how that process is on keeping up with the technology, because in the coding industry, there's always, every year there's always something new. So what is your take on that?
Great question. So let's focus on, I'll say a couple things. One, I want to focus on what start with, I should say, about what we focus on in terms of skills, right? So when it comes to what we do is we focus on that problem identification, problem solving, critical thinking skills, leadership, collaboration, teamwork, right? That time management, I should say, collaboration and time management. So that's the underlying skills that we want to focus on, not becoming an expert at JavaScript, right? So when it comes to the changes, what you're talking about, typically those changes come with languages or technologies, not the skills that make a great coder. The skills that make a great coder have been tried and true for ages, right? That is not going to change. What makes a great coder, a great programmer can pick up a language over a week, over a weekend. But what they can't do are those skills behind being a great coder and a critical thinker and a problem identification, problem solver, the time management, collaboration side of it, the leadership. Those things don't come into play, right, over just a week or a weekend. It's practice skills. So when we talk about what we do for our research and development, I'll get to that in a second, but I wanted to make sure that you understood that it's not just about a language. We focus a little bit with Scratch in our white belt. We move into JavaScript and then the C#. But again, we know that in the world of coding and programming development, multiple languages, multiple technologies are used on projects a lot of the time. So we have to focus on the skills behind the scenes so that when they get older, they can choose their tool. We're not going to brainwash them to thinking that this is the only one that they can use because it's the only one they did use. We want to get those fully transferable skills developed so that they can choose their poison when they're older. When it comes to the research and development, when it comes to the research and development, we have 3 full-time game curriculum developers. Their main focus is just game curriculum development. We have people on our team who are not involved with the actual game curriculum everyday development but have degrees in, video game development. That's what their degree is in, right? So this is but they're in a different part of our business, but they have input, right? So just the game curriculum developers alone, we have 3. We have 4 other individuals that are just focused on the technology side of our business, right? When it comes to our technology, our programmers that focus on how everything works inside of our Code Ninjas, our entire hub of our business. Because everything we have lives on our platform in the cloud that our students can only access through our dashboard. So all of that, we have 4 individuals that focus on your daily CRM system that we built, that we have, that's just made for your Code Ninjas, for your support, your data, your research. Those 4 individuals just focus on that technology side, where the other 3 are focused just on the game curriculum development. And then we have our CTO outside of that, and then we have David Graham, who obviously is the creator of the curriculum and the vision for it, who also has been a programmer and coder developer his whole life. So, and we also work with individuals on the outside on the pacing of our program, professional educators, to be sure that we're pacing it correctly. All that said is fine and dandy, and all that said, it can stand alone on its credibility, but there's a whole other aspect of that, which is our franchisees. We have 141 franchisees, their team members, constantly searching the marketplace to be sure we're offering the best of the best for our curriculum and what we're offering to our parents, our students. So not only does that stand by itself, all that internal, but the external side of it, of having 141 franchisees with 65 centers open, that research and development is fed by encouraging them to always give us feedback on the curriculum, to always be searching the marketplace, finding the right people to open up Code Ninjas that have an entrepreneurial spirit, that want to drive this business forward and see the value in it. That's the best research and development you can possibly have. And their feedback to us and our action towards advancing our curriculum, advancing our offerings, advancing our experience for our students every time they come in, and every year, every month. It's constantly being sharpened and moving forward. We always tell everybody our curriculum is complete but never finished.
Okay,
is that
great.
helpful?
It is. You actually answered my second question, which was how open is the franchise to recommendations and suggestions from the franchisees? As the ideas come in, do you guys take feedback and go back and consider the recommendations from the franchisees?
We have to.
On improvement.
We have to. Look at every great franchise. They're half of their menu in the restaurant business comes from their franchisees. In the fitness industry, half of their group training wasn't created by a franchise. It's created by the franchisees on the market, doing it every day, trying to maximize their personal trainer's time to get group training going on, to increase their profits and increase the results of their members. What we do here is we understand that we have to have feedback from our franchisees. How that goes through our core, quick story, David Graham was a franchisee of the last brand I worked for. As a franchisee, he saw a problem in the software and said, hey guys, here's a problem, just a heads up. I'm just a franchisee, here's the problem, and by the way, here's how to fix it. And guess what the franchise did? They hired David Graham to come in and create an entire brand new operating software that's still in practice today, running over 4,200 locations. He created that. And that was because he was a franchisee that the franchisor listened to. So it goes to our very core about who we are and where we come from in terms of this world of franchising. of listening to our franchisees. We know we have to be duplicatable. So it has to be scalable. We can't take a franchisee who has a certain skill set, who's incorporating a program. We have to see that be able to be used all over our brand. But we have seen tremendous impact and improvement because of our franchisees' feedback. And that's why within 2 years of being a franchise, we already have a franchise advisory council.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Marty. I actually have a call with Jeff in about 45 minutes.
I'll just tell him that I answered all your questions and that I'm better than he is. Not a problem.
I'll let him know that.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. All right. Well, I want to say thank you to join today's Code Ninjas conference call. Again, my name is Marty Flanagan, Vice President of Franchising with Code Ninjas. If you don't have a connection over here, you haven't received an email from us, or you're just listening in, feel free to email me anytime, marty@codeninjas.com. I'm also crazy enough to give up my cell phone number. You want to call me, you want to text me, I can't promise you I'll call you right back, but if you want to reach out, 763-516-3578 is my direct line. Feel free to shoot me a text message, shoot me a call. I will call you back. Again, thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it. There's more than 30 people on the line this entire time. I appreciate you taking some of your day to join today's Code Ninjas executive call. Have a good rest of your week. We look forward to working with you in the future.